When I say evolution education, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For many of us, I can probably guarantee that it's the picture of the monkey on the left standing up straighter and straighter until there's a human on the right. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. What many of you may not know, however, is that evolutionary biologists and science teachers everywhere are rolling in their desk chairs right about now, because this oversimplified monkey to human version of evolution that we so commonly think of is really not what evolution is at all. In reality, evolution is actually a much more complex concept that is the foundation of our understanding of the natural world. Although all of us were taught some version of evolution during our time in middle and high school, what you may not know is that the version of evolution that was taught to you may be significantly different than what was taught to the person in the Zoom box above you. This is because, although evolution education is mandatory throughout the United States, certain states have laws allowing different school districts to independently establish their science education curriculums. In states like Louisiana, where this is the case, this means that certain school districts have the potential to leave out key parts of evolution if they choose to do so. Although you may not think that this matters very much if you live outside of one of these states, the implications of evolution education are important for all of us and have effects beyond what we can imagine. Improper evolution education can lead to a misunderstanding of a number of scientific fields, can put children who don't receive a proper evolution education at a significant disadvantage as they move on into their future lives, and can foster attitudes of resentment and contempt towards scientific progress and different scientific theories. Although these effects may seem daunting, there are things that we can do to help, like educating ourselves about science education and promising to vote for people who will uphold and continue evolution education in schools. As any biologist can tell you, evolution is the basis of all of biology, and it is key to our understanding of the world around us, and to a number of other scientific fields. Although evolution seems like a big concept that doesn't really have any impact on your daily life, evolution is all around us all the time, whether we realize it or not. It's in the production of GMOs, the development of antibiotic resistance, and the mutation of different viruses. Beyond these specific examples, Olga Kazan, a journalist for The Atlantic, says that misunderstanding evolution can make it harder for everyone from doctors understanding superbugs to farmers understanding agriculture to do their jobs. And even beyond these specific fields, when surveying a group of undergraduate students, researchers Deborah Cunningham and Daniel Westcott found that strongly held scientific misconceptions are deep-rooted in students and cannot simply be corrected by the presentation of accurate scientific information. Although you may think that misconceptions about evolutions don't matter beyond a high school or beyond a high school test, understandings of evolution that are incomplete can put children at a significant disadvantage as they continue on in their science education or as they move into the real world as adults. To show you what I'm talking about, I would like you to join me in imagining a few scenarios. First, imagine half teaching math students by only teaching them the fundamental parts of every unit and not teaching them how to apply those concepts to word problems or to real-world scenarios. Now, imagine half teaching English students by teaching them the definitions of different figurative language terms, but not teaching them how to connect those terms to literary analysis or to apply them in their own writing. That sounds absurd, right? Well, unfortunately, allowing different school districts to continue with non-uniform evolution education opens the door for them to do just this, as they have the potential to present students with inaccurate scientific information if they choose to do so. However, according to Heather Weaver, a staff attorney for the American Civil Liberties Union, there is no academic freedom in the right to provide demonstrably false information to students, and ensuring that the information presented in science classrooms meets basic, well-established scientific criteria can increase students' ability to engage in critical thinking skills. On a broader scale, even if the examples of the benefits of evolution education are a little bit questionable to you, it is very hard to argue the fact that not teaching students an accurate form of evolution can foster an attitude of resentment and distrust towards scientific theories and progress. If non-uniform evolution education continues in different districts and we continue to diminish the effects of evolution, and therefore diminish the effects of all of biology as a result, we will continue to encourage and foster an attitude of distrust among students for the scientific community and the concepts that they are working to establish. According to Kenneth Miller, a molecular biologist for Brown University, a new generation is being taught that the scientific community and the scientific method are not to be trusted. This distrust can breed close-minded individuals and resentment toward the scientific community. You may not think that this resentment is a big problem, but I would like you to consider for a moment that the lack of trust in science and scientists has already had implications beyond our belief in our natural world, as we can see in the growing presence of an anti-vax movement and subsequent increase in diseases that have previously been on the verge of being eradicated, and a growing anti-climate change movement that has only been met with a continual increase in global temperatures and extreme weather events. If schools are allowed to continue the practice of independently developing non-uniform evolution education standards, we feed the growing threat of misinformation in our world and put our global community at risk as a result. While we're here, as if the growing threat of scientific misconception isn't enough, what makes this issue even more complex is, as previously mentioned, the threat of misconception is not an easy one to correct. According to Warren Ullman, the director of paleontological research at the Cornell University, solutions to widespread non-acceptance of evolution must involve further than just the resolution of the religion versus science controversy. It must also involve better communication of empirical evidence surrounding evolution, more effective explanation of the nature of science, and an explanation of numerous psychological factors that continue to be a problem for many people when understanding evolution. So easy, right? Well, although this task is incredibly daunting, there are things that we can do to help mitigate the effects of not teaching evolution in schools, or not teaching uniform evolution in schools. For example, we can continue to research the importance of science education and educate ourselves and those around us about why education regarding science, and especially surrounding evolution, is so important to the understanding of our world. Additionally, we can research the policies supported by different congressmen and congresswomen in our areas and vote for campaigns and fund campaigns of individuals who vow to continue their commitment to understanding science and supporting science education and uniform evolution education in all of our schools. Before I conclude, I would like to remind everyone that a uniform evolution education and support thereof does not mean a discreditation of religious beliefs. But that would be an entirely different speech, so for now I will leave you with this. Evolution education is important, and it matters. Not only does it matter, it is essential to the conceptualization of our past and to building a solid foundation for understanding and interpreting our future. And without a solid understanding of evolution and all of the things that it does for our natural world, we are putting our global community and future of science education in our country at risk. In summary, I would like to leave you with the words of an incredible teacher. Allow religion to tell you why if you need to, but allow science to tell you how, not simply because we can, but because we have to. Thank you.